Hey yo, welcome to another edition of Hey Yo with D Shelton. I am the host of this show, podcast, whatever you want to call it, Del Rico Shelton. Please like, share, and subscribe to Hey Yo on Spotify, Apple, or now iHeart. Also, you can find me at Hey Yo with D Shelton on TikTok. Yes, TikTok. I do content mostly there. You can also slide over to find Hey Yo D Shelton at Instagram as well. Like I said, please like, share, and subscribe. Subscriber base is growing, listening and viewership is growing, and go ahead and hit that bell on any of those platforms, and you can get me whenever I do a podcast. And speaking of doing whatever podcast, I woke up this morning and I'm like, you know what? I'm forgetting something. Damn, I ain't do a podcast. It's been almost a week and a half, maybe a little bit close to 2 weeks now. A lot of shit been going on. Good stuff. Um, But before I can get into that, as I'm recording this, the Olympics are about to start. Well, technically, it's already started because soccer for the Olympics has already started. France destroyed the United States 3-0 in the men's soccer, I should say. The women's soccer, however, beat Zambia 3-0. Um, U.S. is, I'm speaking of the women, supposed to take home gold. That's the expected result. Well, the men, I don't know about the men, but that's a whole different topic of itself. On the flip side, though, a lot of people don't know that Hall of Famer Dennis Rodman of the Detroit Pistons, Chicago Bulls, his daughter Trinity plays on the U.S. Olympic team. I found that out today. You go, girl. You go. But as for the Olympics, um, I'm going to set up the recording for the Olympic opening ceremony because I don't know why I'm nostalgic. I love watching the opening ceremony, but I know I'll have some running to do because I want to say it's going to be at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and I got work to do, to be honest. So as I'm recording this, it's a little bit before that. Um, if you want to know, am I rooting for the United States? Yes, I was born here. As I said all the time, I'm a black man that was born in America. I'm a black man first, American second. So you can say what you want. I don't give a damn. But my hierarchy goes as this: United States first, black countries second, Latino countries third, and then everybody else. But go US. USA, excuse me. USA. USA. If you hear that little bell in the background, my cat Stratus, she's in the studio as normal with me, getting on my damn nerves. You ain't getting no treats. Anywho, um, if you want me to talk a little bit basketball, right now I see chinks in the United States basketball team, men's team, I should say. Man, because I've always been a proponent. You got to have some sort of chemistry. And this team is full of stars. Right now, I don't see the chemistry. And you speaking to a dude that's played basketball, coached basketball, and every once in a while he'll train basketball. Shout out to Unique Hoops Basketball Academy in Winchester, Virginia. Shout out to my man Cardell Dudley and Focus TV and My Mind on Sports and Finest Magazine. I ain't forget about you, Wilson. My Mind on Sports. You can check them out, the Focus TV, actually on Roku. Just look up the Focus TV. You're gonna see their brand. You can check them out. They cover Wizards, Mystics, DC United, well, anything basically DC except for the Washington Commanders. They pretty much cover. Now that, I got all of that beautiful stuff out the way. How y'all been feeling this week? If you listen to me, I'm smiling from ear to ear. And if you can see me, you can see kind of a little glow. Yes, I need a haircut. I'll handle that later today. But this has been a crazy week so far. But like I said, it's been a beautiful week. If you have not been hiding under the rock, President Joe Biden is stepping down for re-election of President of the United States. But you know who he endorsed? His Vice President Kamala Harris. First off, Kamala Harris is the first black and South Indian, I must say that too, woman to be VP. And could be the first black woman and South Indian. I don't want to, if I'm messing that up, I apologize. But better yet, also first female president. And Donald Trump and MAGA, I will not call them hardly the Republican Party anymore. And I'm going to kind of get into reasons why later on. Right now, they're having a fit. Right now, Donald Trump is trying to, from certain reports I've seen, and I'm sipping on my coffee because this is beautiful. I need to pick up. He's trying to sue the Democrats, Kamala Harris to be exact, already with a frivolous lawsuit. So she doesn't use about $96 million of the money that was already allocated to her. And here's the thing, Donald and any other body that's wondering why this is such a big deal or why can't he sue for this, because it's not about that. It's her and the down ballot, the down table of that ticket. It's not just Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. There's other Democrats underneath that ticket. So that money also is allocated to them. It's not just also Biden technically and Kamala. This is down ballots. But the bulk of the money is for them. Now, here's what happens. When the money is there and it's donated to the Biden-Harris ticket. Notice, Biden-Harris ticket. She's part of that ticket, Donald. So if a president unfortunately passes away or something happens, or she can take over that money. As a matter of fact, she's the only one that can really use that money. So that's another frivolous lawsuit. It'll get tossed out. I've seen Republicans everywhere. I'm sorry, MAGA everywhere. They can't do that. They want ballots. 14 million people voted. The delegates, we voted for the delegates. The delegates then proceeds and uses hopefully what we want to put them on top of the ticket. Once again, for those that don't understand, it's the ticket. So the delegates can be released by the top of the ticket, which is Joe Biden. Joe Biden released those delegates, do what you want, but I'm endorsing Kamala because it could be death, health-related issues, or let's just be flat out, don't want to run anymore. The delegates at that point said, you know what? We're going to ride with Joe. We're going to go ahead and listen to what Joe said. And she got enough delegates to pretty much vote for her. And at that point, she becomes the presumptive nominee for the Democratic Party. Presumptive because it doesn't become official MAGA until the DNC, which happens next month. That's when it becomes official. So technically, if someone wants to come out of nowhere and challenge Kamala for that spot, they could. They'll lose, but they could. So that's how the process works. The same way it works for you all. Let me sip on my coffee on that a little bit. This is good. Now, here's another situation. And you all, I must say this. I might be off kilter with this, but y'all was set up. I do believe this. I believe Joe wanted to continue. I think Joe made his mind up probably the beginning of the RNC that, you know what, for the future of my country, which I applaud Joe for, I was one of those people that was riding for Joe regardless. I was riding for Joe regardless. Don't give a damn if he's old. Because guess what? He was old when I voted for him in 2020. So what's the difference? He's just slower. And I noticed, here's the thing about the presidency. Even with Donald Trump, if you recall when Barack Obama got in office, he had a full head of black hair. How's Barack's hair now? Pure gray. Look at Joe before the president become president of the United States and look at him now. It takes a toll on you. Even with Donald Trump, he was a little bit more vibrant then. It takes a toll on you. You are, quote unquote, the leader of the free world. Whatever that really means. You know. So Joe, being the greater man he is, I'm gonna say great. Do I agree with everything Joe did? No, because Lord knows the Gaza situation, that's a whole different topic of itself. But it takes a real humanitarian in my eyes to say, you know what, this is not about me. This is about the many. Listen to me again. This is not about me. This is about the many. And let me step down so the many can prosper and move on and progress. Let me check my ego. Trump ain't doing that. You know what I mean? Now he's the old man, the oldest candidate ever. And it's amazing to me that when I did watch a little bit of Fox News, that now that the tables are turned, they said, well, he's not that. Why is everybody saying Trump is old? Because he is. So you see how Fox News and other conservative, supposedly conservative news outlets try to flip that? No. Trump is old and declining himself. Did you see the RNC speech? He don't know what to do. And this is why let me clarify something to go back and now forward. I believe during the RNC, probably in the beginning, Joe Biden made up his mind. So you know what? I'm gonna drop out because the polls either had me below Trump for whatever reason or kind of even with him because I think they say it's a 3-point scale or whatever, margin of error. Let me wait till the RNC is over so they can do all this bullshit have racist ass Hulk Hogan, Kid Rock, all these other motherfuckers. By the way, y'all need a personality, MAGA. Y'all got the ear patches, looks like maxi pads on your ear and whatever. Just a shame. But anywho, after the RNC is over, that Sunday, Joe comes out with the letter, endorses Kamala. New energy comes to the Democratic Party. Everybody is just endorsing her. It took Nancy a couple of days to do it because I think Nancy Pelosi, I'm speaking of, had no choice. Remember, I said in my last podcast and other things, Nancy don't, well, I said it on TikTok, excuse me. Nancy didn't really want Kamala on the ticket anyway, but she got no choice because everybody from Gavin Newsom, Josh Shapiro, Wes Moore, oh, I'm sorry if I'm butchering her name, Gingrich, the governor of Michigan, everybody is endorsing. So Nancy had to get on board. Now, the beauty of it is they spent all that money. They got JD Vance, and I know they're regretting that now. Because a lot of stuff that JD Vance has said, like women who's being abused should stay in the marriage because, for the kids' sake. There should be no abortion, even rape and incest. All this stuff is coming out. He's 39 years old, a junior senator. I don't think he has 2 years on his belt yet in office. And his claim to fame was writing a damn book. A few years ago, he called Trump America's Hitler. Now you in bed with him. J.D. Vance is the type of dude that will say anything to get ahead. He has no conviction. He has no morals. Oh, by the way, racists don't like this part. His wife's Indian. Not Native American Indian. Oh, they don't like that. So all of this is compiling into a lot of stuff. Trump is losing his damn mind. MAGA's losing their mind because they don't have anything on her. Nothing. It's like she's a blank slate. And the only thing they can say is that, well, she only got 1% when she ran against Joe Biden before. And she said nasty things about Joe Biden. Here's the beauty of Joe Biden. He understands, or understood back then, hey, man, I don't need a yes man, or in this case, a yes woman. I need someone who's going to tell me something that maybe I don't want to hear just to give me a different thought. So he chose Kamala as his VP. And whooped your ass, by the way. So that Kamala 5 years ago is not the same Kamala now. Let me go ahead and say that she has spoken and met with over 100 foreign dignitaries, people of power for foreign policy. She helped get HBCUs, last I checked, was either $15 or $16 billion, way more than Trump ever did. Helped with the CHIPS Act, the infrastructure bill, amongst other things. You think she just sitting in the background? Yes, I know the vice president is not a sexy position. But you got to remember, the vice president is number 2. So something happens to the president, that person got to step in like that. So you don't think that she was in those meetings, in those rooms, and Joe Biden didn't brief her on things? If y'all think that is true, did not brief her, if you think that's true, y'all stupid. She knows probably just about everything Joe did. She's more than qualified. And as for her background as a DA and attorney general, hey, I make no mistake. I don't like police. There's only one policeman that I've ever met that I liked. And it was when I was like, 8 18, 19 years old. And I worked at Friendly's restaurant. And he was a cop. And he came in, and I'll never forget him. He would always order a super double chocolate, either Reese's Pieces Sundae or Reese's Cup Sundae, depending if we had the cup or not. And when I left, told him I was leaving the restaurant, he gave me his card and said if I needed anything, hit him up. Nice man, always gave me tips and everything. We had conversations, but he's the only policeman that I've ever said I've ever completely liked. Well, except for, my granddaughter's father. I'm not going to reveal his name, but he knows who he is when he listens. Because he's a police officer. So that's it. 2. So when they say, oh, she was a cop, da 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 da. Here's the thing. She was San Francisco's DA. The thing that's going along the internet, something from the past. She locked up 1,900 black men for marijuana and blah, 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 blah. Not true. You can actually get that information from the San Francisco DA's website. She did not when she was Attorney General. She did not. She actually helped reform. You can either go to jail or you can take this program and everything will be expunged. She did that. Over 1,900? No. The correct stat, while she was under the Attorney General, I'm sorry, when she was Attorney General, 45 out of 1,900. 45 went to jail. That tells me that 9 out of 10, those 45 individuals, they did that shit. Also, it doesn't show out of that, even with the 45, who was black, who was white. I would assume, because of the United States law, that majority was black. I'm going to assume that. But still, from 1,900 that y'all claim that she locked up, there's only 45. That's been debunked through TikTok and Instagram and all sorts of stuff. That's been floating around. So we're in this one. Oh, no. It's not going to be misinformation this time. No. We're not having this. Not on her name. No. Oh, by the way, she's now on TikTok. Her marketing team has, to me, too, that's Harris HQ, for headquarters on TikTok. And then her own individual, Kamala Harris, on TikTok. Her marketing is smart. She don't went to the TikTok route because you know why? Because TikTok is the most powerful app right now in America when it comes to community and sharing information and things. I've learned so much stuff from TikTok that I didn't learn from high school and some college. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, here's the beauty of it and the community of it. Black women got on a conference call. It was like about 44,000. Zoom call, they crashed it. Raised $1.5 million for Kamala Harris. Black men got on a call for Kamala Harris and raised $1.3 million. To my knowledge, white women got on a call. I think it was like over 100,000 of them. The numbers haven't come out how much they raised for Kamala, but I'm sure it's a pretty penny. Latinos, I believe, is getting on the call. Asian people, women or Asia, I'm not sure. They're getting on the call. Because this is a movement now. Now, there was a white man called, to my knowledge. I don't think that one did so well. But it's amazing that this is a whole movement because we're tired of this. And Gen Z and younger millennials can now vote. They weren't happy with the old white man. I'm speaking of Joe Biden. A lot of them damn sure ain't happy with the old white man and Trump. But they see a 59-year-old Gen X female, black female, Indian female, taking over. Oh, they for it. Fresh ideas. The old guard is gone. And Biden even said it in his press conference. Well, I ain't gonna say conference. When he shared to the American people, hey, I'm stepping down. I don't want to call it press conference, but it was his state address, I should say. That's probably a better term. He said for younger ideas, young people, younger ideas. Joe gets it. As a baby boomer, Joe's one of those baby boomers. I'm not gonna say few, but Joe's one of those baby boomers that you can sit down and he'll give you the knowledge you need as an elder for you to go on and handle your business, and he's not gonna stand in the way. Whereas a lot of baby boomers, the Trump style baby boomers, selfish as hell. It's still about them. No. No. It's not about you. You're on your way out. That's why I'm so happy that Gen X is probably going to have a president. And it's amazing to me. For some reason, it's not surprising to me that Gen X is going to have a black female president. Black/Indian woman. Isn't that like Gen X though? As I'm a part of Gen X. That's just like us. We're the latchkey kids. We're the kids that everybody forgot about. Because we don't want to be found. But when we pop out with a vengeance and get some stuff done. Now, speaking of MAGA. I'm trying to keep the podcast under an hour today. I've been doing a good job of that. I'm going to speak to MAGA, though. Besides taxes, what has Red done for you? And taxes are only a small amount of time, limited time period, because corporate tax seems to be permanent. Besides that, you don't have anything to run against this woman. Crime gone down. Inflation. United States inflation is the best in the world. Going down. The economy for the second quarter has gone up. Well, I'm going to say violent crime has gone down. I'll be more specific for you all. Even with the border has slowed down. See, what y'all MAGA individuals don't do, we do our research. No, you don't. You go to these junk websites that give you the information that you want to hear. Not actual. You want to hear this bullshit. So it programs your brain. Me personally, I think y'all got Stockholm syndrome. The people that are whooping your ass, you have an affinity for. That's all you got. Because watching the RNC, you all have no personality. You have no distinction of anything. You are willfully ignorant to a lot of stuff. That man selling shoes after he got attempted assassination. Shoes. $299 and y'all buying them to pay his legal bills. This y'all last stand. If Donald Trump does not win, you're done. We'll never hear from you again. That's why I said we vote blue to get rid of the shit show. Vote blue. And as for speaking of voting, let me get on y'all that I've seen on online spoke to me said I'm not voting for Kamala because she was a police officer. I'm not voting because I don't think America's ready for a black woman. I'm not voting because the Democratic Party and the Republican Party are two sides of the same coin. Y'all get on my nerves. Shut the fuck up. Have y'all seen Agenda 47? Have y'all seen the 900 pages of Project 2025? I don't give a damn if they're two sides of the same coin. I told y'all before, you've heard me say this, I know I said it on TikTok. My grandmother, may she rest in peace, the most beautiful woman in the world, told me something as a little boy. She told me two things that stuck with me. Rico, you're going to learn when you get older, common sense is not common. I'm speaking to those people I just talked about and MAGA. The second thing, Rico, the lesser two evils are still evil, baby. The difference is you're going to tolerate one more than the other. And I got that as you're going to deal with somebody that you know is fucked up, but you might have to deal with that person for the greater good. That's what we look at with the Democratic Party. We know Nancy Pelosi and the Democratic Party, the baby boom part, as I said, gives us nuggets here and there, so we keep voting for them. But we vote for that side because we see at least there is hope at the end of the rainbow. When it comes to voting, if you recall, there's several different. There's a man by the name of Martin Luther King Jr. that helped us get civil rights. Correct? You know, one of those civil rights was the ability to vote, right? So you shitting on him, right? So the only way certain things can change in this country is if we vote a certain way. That doesn't vote to help myself, but my community and other generations. I look at it like this. There's a lot of teachers of Malcolm X that I follow. Malcolm X wasn't the biggest, in the beginning, wasn't the biggest proponent of voting. But for the greater good, for what he was trying to do, and it comes for us, because he said we have to do this on our own. We had to get ourselves out of the mud, so to speak, and take care of each other. This is part of voting. I'm taking care of my community by me voting. My grandmother, and I apologize to the Shelton clan if I'm going to spill out some family business. My grandmother, if I recall, and I could be wrong, so someone in my family correct me, she only had a fifth grade education because she had to take care of her family. Okay. I remember her taking me, because she was actually a housekeeper, maid, whatever you want to call it. I remember her taking me twice to the families that she was pretty much, in a sense, take care of. They were white families. I was bored out of my mind. She had me sit down. You remember, for all Gen X, y'all remember the show Pinwheel and all that stuff. I'm watching that joint. I'm bored. I'm going through stuff. And people had nice yard and all that stuff. While she did her job, caught like 2-3 buses and walked maybe a quarter of a mile to each one of those people's houses. I remember it vividly. Now that I'm older, I get why she made me go with her those couple of days. You're not going to do this shit. I don't believe my great aunt Frances, my great aunt Pearl, or my great aunt Emma. I don't believe none of them graduated high school because they took care of their families. They were, as I call them, the quartet. black women are the pillar of the Sheldon claim. Just like I see right now, the black woman has saved democracy in this country so many times. So when you say I'm not voting, you're shitting on our elders who fought that right to vote. They were in the civil rights era, getting hosed down, attacked by dogs, and all other shit. So you're shitting on them when you say I'm not voting. You're shitting on Martin. You're shitting on Shirley Chisholm, who was the first woman, black woman, actually to try to run for president of the United States. You're shitting on them when you say that. Have I voted all the time? I will admit, no. Every time I couldn't vote, there was always some sort of circumstance. But it's my duty to, because if I don't vote, I'm shitting on them. If I don't vote, I'm shitting on my granddaughters, my nephew, my adopted nieces, the youth, because the policies that come to play affect them later on. We're affected from 40 years of Ronald Reagan's bullshit. You don't think so? Trickle-down economics is what's gotten us in this part right here when it comes to quote unquote recessions and inflation. So when you say I'm not voting, you're shitting on the elders. You're shitting on people that died for that right. Fuck is wrong with y'all? Because you don't like a candidate? I don't care. Research. Vote against 2025. How about that? You're not voting against Kamala. You're not voting for Kamala. You're voting against 2025 and getting that motherfucking office. For those that say, well, we'll be fine. We've had Republican presidents before. Not like this, you dumb sons of bitches. They got the Bible in Oklahoma schools as of this 24-25 school year. What does the Bible have to do with algebra? The 10 Commandments. So you're going to alienate a kid that's Buddhist, a kid that's Muslim, a kid that's Hindu. Hell, even atheist kid. Y'all keep forgetting there's 1,000 religions. So you alienate that. You in a sense, you're forcing this. This ain't about a lot of stuff y'all think. This is about a woman's right to choose with her own freaking body. Why does the government has to tell a woman you got to, I'm getting a little upset. Let me calm down. You have no control of your body. I don't see a law yet that tells a man what to do with his body. But for a woman, that's between her and her God. So-called Christians. You playing God now? Okay. So when I say I'm voting, it's for all those reasons. For my grandmother and her sisters, for my granddaughters and their children one day, for my nephew and his children one day, for my adopted nieces, for their children one day, and them, because they're all young. My oldest niece is what I want to say 27. And when I mean adopted niece, I took her under my wing. You see what I mean? So when you say you're not voting, you're shitting on them, because the policies that happen now is going to affect them. I'm on the second part of my life. They're beginning. So you're being selfish now. You sounding like them. They don't want you to vote so you can just go with the status quo. No. Vote. If you don't like Kamala, that's your choice. But you better vote. Because guess what? You're going to hurt them. You're going to hurt the youth. We're supposed to teach. So if we don't vote and Project 2025 comes into effect, and this dude, who the Supreme Court pretty much says, hey, you can do whatever you want as president, what the fuck you think gonna happen? If it's not Trump, it's gonna be somebody else. So you vote to prevent this shit. This is racist white people's last stand, or going to be last stand. So what are y'all thinking about? Am I happy with Kamala Harris's her whole record? No, you're not supposed to. She's fucking human. Everybody makes mistakes. That's how you learn. But at the same time, I'm voting against Project 2025. I'm voting against Agenda 47. I'm voting for woman's right to choose. I'm voting for my kids, children, my grandchildren, and underneath that whole tree that's coming down when I leave this earth. So they'll be fine. Y'all gotta be crazy. Y'all don't vote, man. Especially on this one. Because MAGA, they'd rather burn this joint down. And here's a warning. I'm not speaking violence. I'm speaking a fact. Me living in Washington, D.C., I pay attention very, very closely. NATO was here last week. They boarded a whole lot of streets and things up. They didn't really do that before. Netanyahu, who I'm not a friend of, the Prime Minister of Israel, he was here the other day. They boarded certain streets up. They didn't really do that before. Oh, I get what they're doing. This is, in a sense, dummy runs. If you think what's going to happen, that happened January 6th, going to happen again in this city, you got another thing coming. All I'm going to say is this. You come here one way, you might be leaving out here another. I'm warning MAGA on this, because if Kamala wins and y'all try that bullshit, I'm just giving you the warning. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm seeing things that you normally don't see. Kind of test runs with stuff. That's all I'm saying. They're waiting for you this time. It's not going to be a surprise. So when your guy loses, and I'm like 80% confident he's going to lose, because everybody's against him now. He doesn't even want to do the debate. Then I'm sipping on my coffee again. The debate that's supposed to be on ABC, yeah, he's trying to get out of it, because Kamala's going to eat his ass up. He's already trying to do a nickname, Lying Kamala. That's a stretch, since he lied all the time. Laughing Kamala because, Fox News don't like her laugh. I propose this. If you make a nickname, if I'm petty, I'll make a nickname for Don. I've already done it on TikTok. I call him Doo-Doo Don, because he wears diapers and he can't hold his flatulence. The minute he says something, if I'm Kamala, I'll say that joint, say, you smell kind of bad right now. Did you do something right now? Just because Donald Trump, because he's a sociopath and narcissistic liar, he does not like to be laughed at. And that, I'm be honest, is what most sociopath and narcissistic people can't take. Being laughed at. If she does that and they do a debate, he's done. He wants to do a debate. He wants to move it to Fox News so he can have some sort of advantage. If I'm Kamala, hell no. in Roaster's poll, in um, what is it? Reuters. I'm sorry, she's winning in Reuters poll. You don't believe Reuters. I might be saying it wrong, but she's winning in that poll. She's also winning in several other polls. There's a couple polls I see that Donald Trump's winning. There was one poll I actually saw. I can't remember it now, but she was winning by like 8 points when it came to the younger generation. He's scared to death. And as for vice president candidates, I have a suggestion. Josh Shapiro, governor out of Pennsylvania. That's who if I'm her, I'm taking him as my VP. One is a swing state. Josh Shapiro's also doing a great job. Economy in Pennsylvania is cool. Even into the rural areas, farmers and things. They're doing cool. They're doing all right. You know what? And I didn't think about it until I did. Till I had to again research something to make sure it was true. Josh Shapiro is Jewish. Matter of fact, he's the third Jewish governor of Pennsylvania. So you get a Jewish vice president. Oh, that's going to make MAGA hot. It's going to make them super hot. I love that for them. So if I were her, one, it pretty much guarantees that she gets Pennsylvania off the bat. Oops. So that's a swing state that's gone. In certain polls, Trump's losing Michigan. So let's say she gets Michigan. That's going to be a tough stretch. Georgia, it went blue last time, right? You know why? Because majority of the population is around the Atlanta area. You know who's Atlanta? My hue. Black people. So if we turn out in Georgia, guess what? You're losing Georgia. The only swing state you got is Arizona and Wisconsin. And she's doing her work in Wisconsin right now. I'm going to say this. If Donald Trump wins, it's going to be barely. And then he's going to do some sort of bullshit litigation. But if Kamala wins, it's going to be a landslide. Oh, by the way, Texas isn't play quite as kept because of the Governor Abbott don't screwed up everything in Texas. So there's a lot of Texans right now that's a little pissed. Oh, another thing. People that quote unquote move from liberal states and going to Texas are slowly turning Texas blue because they're voting blue. Oh my God, if Texas turns blue, there'll be I'll say this. Let me say this. If Kamala Harris wins, which like I said, I'm 80% certain she's going to. The only way she's not is if MAGA and racist white dudes don't want to vote for a black woman. And white women don't vote for her. So this election's on you, white women. You can go with the status quo and then, in a sense, be a slave to your husbands and all the stuff. Or you can get on the ball and finally listen to black women who've been telling you stuff forever. And let's get this thing popping to get the old oligarchs out. Because I'm gonna be honest, this is on you all. We know what we're doing. Apparently Latinos know what they're doing, except the ones that, for whatever reason, that's a whole different ballgame. Asian people looks like they know what they're doing. Oh, they kind of learned because of the affirmative action thing they were tricked on. We know what Native Americans gonna vote. This is on you, white women. On this one, do the right thing. If you want change, this is how it happens. And once again, for the people that say, I'm not voting because of this, let me pull this scenario out for you. If you don't vote, right? One, don't say shit. Whether it's good or bad for you, don't say shit because you didn't vote. If you got sick or something happened, you couldn't vote, I understand that. Like I said, there was always some circumstance where I couldn't vote. I got sick or something else popped off. Now that there's mail-in ballots, that ain't gonna happen no more. But for those that don't vote, don't say shit. Will some pop off bad? Don't say shit. Will some pop off good for you? Don't say shit because you had no part in this. And once again, you're shitting on the elders. And you don't. With white women, I'm speaking to you specifically. You complain all the time about certain things, you better vote blue on this. Because your rights are in jeopardy. Your bodily autonomy is in jeopardy. Because we all know where we're going. So don't cry if he wins. Well, shut up. Because you did this to yourself. We've been telling you. So that over 100,000 women that was on that white woman's call, do the right thing. So we can be rid of the shit show. Like I said, I don't even consider it Republicans anymore. It's MAGA. For the real Republicans that are listening to this, vote blue. So you can get the shit show out your party. The Matt Gaetz, the Lauren Boebers, the Marjorie Taylor Greens, the dumbass congressman that said Kamala was a DEI. I know that made y'all cringe. Because I know some real Republicans that do know policy. In order for you to get your party back, you got to get rid of the shit show. So on this one, vote blue. So at the very least, you can get rid of the shit show. Now, I will admit, you're probably not going to get another Republican president until someone comes along that actually has some common sense and is willing to go across the aisle for the progression of the nation. You're probably not going to get one for the next, I'll say, 16 years. Because you're going to get Kamala for about 8. And then let's say it's Shapiro. And let's say Kamala's cabinet administration, does well. Guess what? Next person, that's the Democrats going to come. So I'm just going to say 16 years. You're not going to get it. So now you have to force the change. And again, change means progression. Or, here's something for you real Republicans. Fuck that Republican name. Do a whole brand new party. Let MAGA have that Republican name and you do a brand new party for yourself. Then that means we got 3 parties. Which I've been saying we need more than 2 parties. That's just thought. That's just thought. For what I know, I'm just a middle-aged black man who's seen racism firsthand, who's seen misogyny firsthand, who's seen sexism firsthand, xenophobia firsthand, pure hatred firsthand. Taught kids, coach, train. See a whole diaspora of shit. Listen to what I'm saying. If you don't vote blue, don't say shit when something pops off. It's just that simple. And I said it because I'm no fan of the Democratic Party, but it's gonna be blue down ballot all the way through on this one. I gotta protect my youngins. This ain't about me. It's about my youngins. And when I mean youngins, I mean every young person that has been under me and their future youngins. You know what I mean? Vote blue on this. So we can all be rid of the shit show. Even you real Republicans. Because it's amazing to me that Mike Pence ain't endorsed him. Hell, Mike Pence almost died. Anybody that was in his cabinet just about left. You got Republicans that saying, like Liz Cheney, Mitt Romney, and all that, say, no, I'm not endorsing this motherfucker. Don't that give y'all some, don't that give y'all a thought process of like, yo, fuck is going on? But hey, that's on y'all. I'm getting up out of here. I got some stuff to do. As a recap, Kamala Harris, she's, oh, before I forget this thing, I'm glad I said that. For those that said Michelle and Barack Obama ain't endorsed her, there's an ad right now that has Barack and Michelle on the call with Kamala Harris endorsing her. Now what? So the Obamas have endorsed Kamala Harris now. What you got to say on that one? I'm out. As always, I'm getting happy. Whoo. As a recap, vote blue. Kamala Harris is pretty much the Democratic nominee. White women, this is on you. This ain't gonna be on anybody else. This is on you. You want change for yourself? Vote blue on this. But as I said always, to get up out of here, may Father and the ancestors take care of you, your loved ones, and anybody else you care about. I see y'all when I see y'all. Peace. Vote blue.